Hello, everyone. My name is Moshe Nabeh from the SAP community team. Welcome to today's SAP community call. I'll start by handing it over to Ceci. Go ahead.
Okay, hi, so thanks Moshe, and hi everybody, a warm welcome from my side as well. So thank you for joining this SAP community call on the SAP Fiori custom code migration app. As you've probably seen from recent blog posts, this is a series in which we're talking about the BTP capabilities that can support in either RISE with SAP use cases or general digital transformation stories for our customers. As Moshe mentioned, you do have a Q&A tool that is available. It's very important for us that this session is actually adapted and tailored to your needs and your questions. So feel free to ask questions during the session. And at the end of the presentation, at the end of Olga's demo, we'll be taking on those questions one-on-one. If there's anything that we can't cover right now in the call, if there are too many questions, then I'm going to be posting a wrap-up blog in which we'll have all the links, all the needed information, and also answer any questions that remained unopened. So like I mentioned, today is all about the Fiori custom code migration app. We have Olga here. She's an experienced ABAP product manager who is going to take you guys through the tool, through the benefits, through the use cases, and also show a very extensive demo so you can get kind of a feeling of how to use this tool in your day-to-day. And with that, Olga, over to you.
Thank you, Ceci. And very welcome also from my side. My name is Olga Dolinska, and I'm a product manager for ABAP platform. And today we will talk about custom code migration app, how to use it to analyze your custom code for SAP S/4HANA and for the cloud transformation, and what you all need to do the analysis. And you will see also a lot of demo which I'm planning to show you. Okay, just step directly into the slides. RISE with SAP is the new business transformation as a service offering, which provides the path for you to the intelligent enterprise. And your journey to this intelligent enterprise, to this business transformation, consists of 3 simple steps: business process redesign, technical migration, and building of your intelligent enterprise. And the technical migration comprises all technical tools and services from SAP, which enable you this smooth transformation, including also identification of the custom code, which is suitable for migration. And since generally custom code migration topic is so important for you as customers, we have also included custom code migration app into the RISE bundle, and it is available in every RISE with SAP subscription. And with RISE with SAP, you can set up the custom code migration app in SAP BTP ABAP Environment. You can set up it for free, but you need to entitle the SAP BTP ABAP Environment, which you can do using your cloud platform enterprise agreement credits, which are included into your RISE with SAP offer. Over the past years, SAP customers have heavily extended and modified SAP solutions, and there are SAP ERP systems with a few million lines of custom code. During a system conversion to SAP S/4HANA or custom code migration to SAP BTP, customers need to define the scope of custom code for migration and also adapt it for the SAP S/4HANA or SAP BTP accordingly. And thereby, you as customers face the following challenges. The understanding about custom code impact must be won at a very early stage of your migration project. An average SAP ERP system contains a lot of custom code which is never executed in the production, and this unused custom code should be identified and removed. Besides that, all impacted custom code objects must be either adapted or deleted from the system. And beyond this, lift and shift custom code migration approach, where you just take over the custom code from the ERP system and move it to SAP S/4HANA or SAP BTP, would cost you high adaptation and future maintenance costs. Therefore, we recommend to review the custom code and evaluate it for the further redesign. So all these challenges can be handled using the custom code migration app. The custom code migration app is the tool of choice for supporting of custom code migration projects within SAP S/4HANA conversion or during transformation to SAP BTP ABAP environment. The custom code migration app analyzes custom code in SAP system for SAP S/4HANA or SAP BTP ABAP environment, depending on your use case and depending on your custom code migration project type. It supports simplified custom code remediation, and it is capable to identify and remove unused code and subsequently automatically reduce the scope of your custom code migration activities. The app comes along with advanced clean code dashboard that allows to identify most expensive custom code as candidates for various back to standard and redesign activities. The app is able to identify custom code which can be adapted for SAP S/4HANA or SAP BTP ABAP environment in a semi-automated way using so-called quick fixes in ABAP Development Tools and Eclipse. And the app can be set up automatically and configured using the dedicated workflow in SAP BTP ABAP environment. What are the benefits for you as customers? You can definitely estimate the issues in your custom code in advance using the custom code migration app, and it will help you to better plan your analysis and your adaptation efforts for later on. You can also significantly save your costs if you remove the obsolete and unused code from the system, and if it will be identified and removed in automated way. You will definitely better understand the custom code impact if moving your ERP system to SAP S/4HANA or planning BTP migration, if you will get in place the advanced analysis capabilities which the app offers to you. And you can use the quick fixes and therefore automate your custom code adaptation activities and reduce the manual work. Also, if you consider using the clean code dashboard, then you can identify complex custom code developments, and hopefully it will drive your back to standard and redesign activities. In this way, you can get rid of complex code, of outdated code, and approach the clean code principle. The custom code migration app comes along with the two main high-level features, scoping and analysis. Scoping includes a definition of custom code for SAP S/4HANA or SAP BTP, and analysis, as the name says, offers the analysis of the custom code. In the scoping is included the following. You can upload collected usage data in production for a custom code, and the scoping is able to define the custom code migration scope initially based on this uploaded usage data. And of course, you can anytime adjust the scope manually and add and remove custom code objects from scope and to the scope. You can also identify using this clean core or complexity dashboard the complex custom code, and you can remove it also from scope for later redesign. And you can save the defined scope as transport request in order either to delete it from the system if you plan to move the system to SAP S/4HANA to convert it, or if you plan to transmit the code to the SAP BTP, then this custom code can be saved as transport request on the system. The analysis is based on the remote ABAP test cockpit, and you will get the technical analytical representation of custom code analysis results using the custom code migration app. You will get various charts and dashboards and graphics. For example, you would get the burnout chart where you can just observe the findings distributions over the time, Like, for example, if you execute the analysis and you fix some findings, some issues in your custom code, and then you run analysis again, then you will get less findings and the burn down chart will go down. You have different filters which enable you to customize your analysis results view, and you can also identify the custom code for the automated adaptation via quick fixes. And of course, you have different navigation capabilities where you can direct navigate to the source code, or you can see the custom code finding in detail and take a look at it. Custom code migration app supports two main use cases for custom code migration. It supports analysis of custom code for migration to SAP S/4HANA and analysis of custom code for migration to SAP BTP. And consequently, we recommend to move the custom code, which is tightly coupled with SAP standard, to SAP S/4HANA. And if you have in mind an application which is really loosely coupled with SAP standard code, maybe it would be a nice candidate for SAP BTP, and then a nice candidate for such use case for migration to SAP BTP. And the process of migration to SAP S/4HANA looks as the following. We will take first a look at the migration process to SAP S/4HANA, and then at migration process to SAP BTP. The migration to SAP S/4HANA begins with so-called scoping of the custom code, so where you decide which custom code is in scope for SAP S/4HANA migration. Then during the scoping, we recommend to use the complexity or clean code dashboard to analyze the complexity of your custom code. And from there, you can drive your decisions about identification of the code of SAP BTP, or removing the obsolete code, or identify the code for breaks to standard and redesign activities. The app analyzes your custom code for SAP S/4HANA readiness based on the simplification information from the simplification database, which is provided by the SAP S/4HANA. And then after the system conversion or during the new implementation of SAP S/4HANA, you can move your custom code to SAP S/4HANA and adapt it. So this is the process, how it looks like, and we will take a look at it in detail at every step. It begins with the scoping, and the scoping itself begins with the collecting of usage data for your custom code in the productive system. And our statistics from the past 15 years show that on average 30 to 60% of custom code in a middle SAP ERP system is not executed in production. And therefore, removing unused and obsolete code will significantly reduce your effort for adaptation of such custom code, and this will also pay off during the future S/4HANA upgrades or during transformation to SAP BTP, because you will get less custom code and you will get less adaptation effort. And SAP recommendation here is at least 1 year prior to your S/4HANA conversion project or BTP transformation project to collect usage data in your productive systems using ABAP Call Monitor, transaction SIMON, and SUCG, the transaction for the aggregation. You can turn on the usage data collection directly in SAP ERP system using the transactions SIMON and SUCG, and you will get a really low performance impact directly on the productive system. It's less as 3% in overall, and therefore you can just collect the usage data for 1 year using these post transactions. Alternatively, if your system is connected to the solution manager, of course, you can use also the old UPL, usage procedure login, in order to collect the usage data for your ERP system. After the usage data is collected, you can upload it to the custom code migration app, and the app will define initial custom scope based on the uploaded usage data. And then you are, of course, capable to adjust the custom code manually and add or remove the custom code objects from the scope. After that, after you are ready with the scope definition, you can create deletion transport for unused code in your productive system. And you can remove this code automatically using Software Update Manager during the S/4HANA conversion. And if you have concerns about the removing of the unused code from the system, then we recommend to do the backup of such custom code objects and to use some kind of downsized productive ERP system or downsized development system and transport the unused code there for the case that you maybe will need it at a later point of time. And later on, you can import the code if it's needed using transport of copies into your new S/4HANA system and check it for S/4HANA readiness afterward. So you will not lose the unused code if you want to keep the backup. Okay. As I already said, during scoping of a custom code for SAP S/4HANA, we recommend to do so-called complexity analysis on your custom code. The thing is that the use of existing custom code in from today's ERP systems is often considered as obvious, and many projects just take the custom code in existing ERP and move it to SAP S/4HANA as it is. We refer to this process as lift and shift. Nevertheless, before you start to just copy the custom code to the new system, we would like you to consider the following. First, the whole custom code that you copy over to your new S/4HANA system needs to be adapted. So you will get a huge effort on custom code adaptation activities if you just take the custom code as it is and adapt it. And also the amount of custom code will grow because you don't only move your custom code objects, but you move also the dependent objects. They must be also moved. Second, and more important, many of your current implementations in traditional ERP systems are likely to be outdated, both technically and functionally. That means they may rely on modifications or clones of SAP standard code, old style enhancements techniques, or old business logic. And therefore, we decided to implement a dashboard which will help you to identify such candidates in custom code for redesign. And it works as the following. When defining custom code scope, you can also display the complexity of your custom code migration in a graphic. It summarizes the number of relevant changes in your custom code in accordance with the complexity of it. It helps you to estimate the complexity and effort of your custom code migration activities in advance, because we have found out that the most complex packages of the custom code very often also experience the most frequent changes. And in this way, they increase the maintenance cost for your custom code significantly. You can use this dashboard as a technical metric to prioritize which of your custom code developments need redesign. And for the systems with a larger custom code footprint, we generally suggest starting with a review of top 25 to 50 most complex and most frequently changed development packages. And this is actually the upper right part of the diagram. If you take a look at the middle ERP system, you will see that the complex development packages are located just on this diagonal of this dashboard, and on the upper right corner of this diagram, you will see the most complex executables. After you have defined your complex custom code developments, the next step is to review them. And the review procedure of your custom code should include the following steps. First, you need to evaluate functionality. So if reconfirm with the business if this functionality is needed for the business, and remove old and untrained business logic, or evaluate SAP and partner solutions. Also recommend to set so much back to standard as possible and clean up your modifications and enhancements, and evaluate if the same functionality can be achieved using an app or side-by-side extensibility. And of course, the remaining part of the custom code can be lifted and shifted to the new S/4HANA system. In order to make the decision what to do with the complex custom code, either to apply back to standard or apply extensibility, you can check out this guide, custom extensions in SAP S/4HANA implementation. And there is a decision matrix there from the guide, which will support you in this decision. Okay. The analysis of the custom code. Custom code migration app performs S/4HANA checks over your custom code in the SAP ERP system remotely and provides detailed analysis results with comprehensive filtering and navigation capabilities and various chart-based presentations of results. And like for example, for S/4HANA, you can apply different visual filters and filter the findings for the top simplification areas, in which most of simplification areas you have the issues in custom code, or if you can find out using the filters how many findings are in the code which is scoped for SAP S/4HANA, or how many findings can be fixed automatically. And these analysis results should be used as a basis, as foundation for all custom code adaptation activities. You can also see the detailed analysis of each findings. You can use findings burn down chart if you fix the findings in between and rerun the analysis and would like to understand how the findings are distributed over the time. And of course, you can download analysis results and upload them, for example, to SAP readiness check. Okay. Now I talked a lot, and I think it's time to show you this demo of the custom code migration app. I'm here on SAP BTP ABAP Environment, and I have the custom code migration app configured on my Fiori Launchpad, and I just started. And in order to create the S/4HANA migration project, you can just press Create button and create the new S/4HANA migration project. And here you can put the project description, the target release, which S/4HANA release you would like to go to, and choose the transition scenario. If you do it, the custom code analysis for system conversion, or do it for the new implementation, meaning greenfield approach. And here you can provide the connection to the remote system, your ERP system, which you would like to analyze. And here you have the possibility to add the usage data, where you again provide the connection to the system where usage data is collected. And you can here choose the snapshot of usage data which were collected using the ABAP Monitor and SUCG. And if you collected your usage data in Solution Manager and UPL, you can just provide the RFC connection to the Solution Manager system, and you can upload from there the collected UPL usage data. If I press the Create button, then the project gets created and analysis gets executed, scoping the custom code based on the usage data and analysis, but it would take some time. Therefore, I just discard it and show you the project which I have prepared beforehand. This is this one, and here the scoping of the custom code was already executed based on the uploaded usage data, and the usage data was uploaded from the ABAP Monitor. And the analysis was also executed, and I have about 700 of findings in my custom code. Here, you can go do the scoping. If you go to the scoping part, and you see here, this blue bar demonstrates the custom code objects which are not in scope. And these are the green bar demonstrates the objects which are in scope. And here, for example, this orange bar demonstrates the objects which are in scope by reference, meaning that the objects which are referenced by the custom code migration, by the custom code objects which are really executed in the production. You can anytime change the scope manually here by pressing the button change the scope manually. And here, for example, I can pick up the package and add the package to the scope. And you see the package gets added, all the objects of it. I can also add single objects to the scope, and I can use this functionality, for example, for the cases if you have new developments for which usage data does not exist. You can just pick up these new developments here and add them to the scope. And here, if you go on packages, you will get the access to the complexity dashboard, which shows you the complex custom code developments in accordance with frequency of changes and in accordance to its complexity. And here you can just pick up such a complex executable here and see details, the complexity index and the number of changes. And as I already said, in the middle ERP system, you will get just these top complex packages, which will be here placed along this diagonal, and you will see a lot of them in this top upper right corner, and we recommend to approach them first for redesign activities. Okay, after you have defined the scope of your custom code, you can just press the button Create Deletion Transport, and this corresponding transport request gets created on the ERP system. And this transport request can be added to the Software Update Manager during S/4HANA conversion process as a custom transport. And in this way, the Software Update Manager would remove this unused custom code from the system. And as already said, you can also do the backup of this custom code if you don't want to lose it. But now let's go to the analysis. Here on the below side of the screen, you see the findings list. This is the same table which you maybe probably know already from the SAP GUI ATC transaction. Here you see the findings results according to the places where they happen, which package, which custom code objects, which simplification item of S/4HANA is used, and so on and so forth. You can use the compact filters here to focus on the analysis results. For example, I would like to see the analysis results only for one selected package. For this one, I can just pick it up and we'll see the analysis results only for this package. Or for example, I would like to know which custom code objects are using the standard SAP objects which were changed in SAP S/4HANA, like BCG, like conf, mark, and so on. And I just pick them up and you will see the findings which are dedicated to the usage of these SAP standard objects which were simplified in SAP S/4HANA. You have here different views. You have here the view findings for simplification item categories. You can choose another one. You can create also your own view, and there you can just combine the filters, how you would like to use them. And I will go just to the findings by simplification items. And here I can choose in the middle part, for example, the top simplification items which are referred in my custom code. So these are the most issues which I have in my custom code have to deal with these three areas of the simplifications. Okay, this is another way how you can just filter and focus your results. And here I will go back to standard. I would like to use the visual filters above, and here would like to focus on the findings which are in scope for SAP S/4HANA and the findings for which no quick fixes are available, so I must fix them manually, and also the findings which are of functional nature, meaning I need the application domain knowledge in order to be able to fix them, and any ABAP generalist will not be able to do it. I just focus on these findings, and you have this short list of the results. And here you can navigate, for example, to details of the finding. And you will see here this custom code object from this package is using the transaction in B11, and there are problems with that. And the dedicated SAP node number, this one, can be opened here, and you can read about how to fix this issue. And of course, I can also navigate to the source code directly in order to see in which source code line this finding take place. Yes, it is here, call transaction in B11, and it must be corrected. So in this way, you can navigate to the detailed results of the finding. And you can also anytime download your analysis results and export it to the Excel sheet or export it in the format which is suitable for upload to the SAP readiness check. So this is here also possible. Okay, let's go back to the slides. After you have moved your custom code to SAP S/4HANA, you can adapt your custom code using the so-called quick fixes. You can significantly reduce your custom code adaptation efforts with semi-automation provided by the quick fixes, and with only few clicks, you can initiate mass custom code adaptation and expect up to 60% automation rate for adaptation for the most frequent findings of the typical SAP S/4HANA simplification use cases. I will also show you the demo here. Before I will do it, just a small addition. I have shown you how the custom code migration app works for the S/4HANA system conversion. You're also able it's also able to handle the custom code migration for the new S/4HANA projects, for the new implementations. You will not then create S/4HANA migration project, and you will choose here as transition scenario new implementation. And the only difference to the SAP S/4HANA conversion project is then if you take a look at this project, Greenfield project, the scope initially is empty, nothing is a scope, and you need to pick up to choose the custom code objects which you would like to move to S/4HANA Greenfield. So the approach is different. You not move the whole custom code from the system to the new implementation of S/4HANA. You just pick up the application which you are interested in. And then you can save the scope as a transport and transport it, this transport request to the new S/4HANA system. Okay, now let's go to the quick fixes. I'm now on S/4HANA system with this custom code package of my objects. And in order to execute the quick fixes, I need to run ABAP Test Cockpit for it. So let's pick up this one, S/4HANA Readiness 2020. So the ABAP Test Cockpit run, which is executed locally in S/4HANA system on your custom code, is the foundation for applying the quick fixes. And it must be carried out, or if you have existing run, you can just take it over to the ATC problems in ABAP Development Tools and Eclipse. And here we get a long list of the findings of the custom code, and this is the same one which you get also on the custom code migration app, because the same S/4HANA readiness checks were run over it. And you can either step directly to the source code and apply single quick fix using the Control-1 shortcut. Quick fix is, by the way, the functionality of Eclipse itself. And the quick fix proposes me to select to replace the select from the table conf using the API call. And so we can proceed for each and every finding one by one. And this yellow bulb signalizes that for these findings, there are quick fixes available. But it will cost a lot of effort, and therefore it's better to select the whole list of the findings and use the mass-enabled quick fixes. And mass-enabled quick fixes allow to adapt the whole custom code packages at one shot. And here, for each custom code objects, you can see how the original source looks like and how the source will look like after applying the quick fix. So you see here, select from the conf table, which be replaced by API call. And you see here also select from the table BCG will be replaced from the API call, or you see here a number of SD simplifications where you just need to replace the selects from the VBUC table with accesses to VBUC table, and so on. So in this way, you can see what the quick fix will do on your custom code. And additionally, if you turn on the dedicated comments on this S/4HANA system, you can also write down the comments into the source to keep the information how the original source looked like. And if you agree to the quick fix proposals, you can just press finish button, and all the quick fixes will be executed, and the custom code objects will get adapted here. Okay, so much to the quick fixes, and let's take a look at the migration to SAP BTP use case, which is also handled by the custom code migration app. It begins also with the scoping of the custom code for SAP BTP ABAP environment. Then the app analyzes the custom code for SAP BTP readiness. And then after you move the code to SAP BTP, and for this purpose, we recommend to use ABAP Git. You can use ABAP Git plugin to export the custom code from the ERP system and use the Git repository and store the code there. And then in the cloud-based system in SAP BTP ABAP environment, you can use ABAP Development Tools and Eclipse plugin, ABAP Git plugin, to import this custom code from the Git repository into the cloud-based system. And then after you are done with it, you can adapt your custom code. And the scoping is must be done manually. So you must first make the decision and pick up the application which you think is suitable for the cloud, meaning which is loosely coupled with SAP standard, which is not built using DynPro technology, which is has not so many accesses to application logics like direct selects from the Mara table and so on. And if you find such a custom code application, which is from your perspective is a good use case for moving to the cloud, then you can do the scoping and add this application using the custom code migration app. And the app will do the automatic scoping of the custom code dependent objects of such application, and you can save the custom code scope in the transport request. And the analysis of custom code takes place for SAP BTP readiness, means the app is capable to find out if your custom code uses non-supported technologies in SAP BTP ABAP environment, like, for example, DynPros, or like, for example, programs or transactions, or not released objects for SAP BTP ABAP environment, or also not compatible ABAP statements with ABAP language version cloud, since we reduced the scope of ABAP language, providing the new version ABAP language version cloud for the cloud, and removed the statements which are obsolete or the statements which would harm the cloud operation. That's why this using of such non-compatible ABAP statements will be also detected by the app. And also you have here the filters on the analysis results, and you have different navigation capabilities to details of the findings, and you can evaluate your custom code for potential automated adaptation using the quick fixes. Okay. And before we start with the quick fixes, I will show you a short demo how the custom code migration app handles SAP BTP projects. You just create such a project using the create button in the app, SAP BTP migration project. And here you give it also the name, and you provide the location of the custom code and connection to the remote system. You need to define the RFC destination to this remote system beforehand, and you can also here upload the usage data. And I have prepared such a custom code migration project beforehand, this one. And as I told you, the scope is initially empty, so you must change the scope manually. And you must pick up the package which you think is suitable for the cloud. Here, for example, I will sort the list of the packages. And I'll try to find the package which I would like to move to the cloud. This is this one, the flight evaluation. I'm pretty sure that this package is suitable for the cloud, and therefore we'll just add this package to scope. And you see the dependent objects of the set flight reuse lib get also added to the scope. And if I go now to the scope, you see here that in scope, these are the packages. The one package is by the package which I select there, and another one is by reference because it's referenced by the package which I have selected. And now, if you're ready with the scoping, you can save the scope as transport. on your ERP system, and then you can export it from the system using the ABAP Kit and import it to the cloud-based system using ABAP Kit plugin again. But we will go to the analysis, and the analysis was executed on the whole system. And again, I can, for example, use the compact filter, and I can just choose this package and focus on the results of this package, because this is actually the application which I'm interested in. So need to choose it here, I think. That flight evaluation. So this is this one. Again here, and now I see only the findings and the custom code related to this Z flight evaluation package. And again, I can focus on the findings for the using of the non-restricted ABAP in my custom code with the statements which are permitted in the cloud, or for example, usage of released objects, or for example, for allowed objects type, like here you see the transactions and programs are not allowed for usage in the cloud. And again, here I can navigate to the detailed results and see what the issue is here, and navigate also to the source code. Like here, for example, let's see, pick up this one. And here I see in this object, if I go to the source code, the statement refresh is used, which is not permitted in the cloud, and you need to use clear in the cloud, and this is also detected by the custom code migration app. And you see also that for this particular finding, the automated quick fixes are available. So you have the same filters and the same analysis capabilities. You can also download the analysis results. So the same what you can do for S/4HANA readiness, you can do also for BTP readiness. And after you are ready with analysis, and after you have transported your custom code application to the cloud, you can use again ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse along with the quick fixes. And the quick fixes are available in ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse for cloud readiness, as for S/4HANA readiness. And the quick fixes allow to adapt your custom code to the ABAP language version cloud, adapt to usage of released objects for the cloud. And you can also benefit from using the mass-enabled quick fixes to adapt the whole packages at one shot. And again, I will show you the show demo. If, for example, I execute for my custom code objects the ABAP test cockpit using the dedicated cloud readiness check variant, I will get all the cloud related issues in my custom code. And they will be provided in the corresponding ATC work list in ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse. And here, for example, you see the syntax error in the restricted language score. Reports are not permitted in the cloud. Or here you see usage of not released API and so on. And for some findings, there are also quick fixes available. So if I select the whole list of the findings and apply again the mass-enabled quick fixes, then you can take a look at your original source code and what the quick fix proposes to you. Like, for example, if you use the old SQL, you can replace it with the new SQL. Or, for example, here, if you use the custom defined Boolean type, like this flag, and you must use only one ABAP Boolean type, which is allowed in the cloud. This is this data element ABAP Boolean, the only Boolean data type which is allowed in the cloud, and so on. For all these types of errors, you will get the quick fixes proposals. And if you press the finish button and apply all the quick fixes, then the all custom code objects will be adapted at one shot. Okay, so you have for the BTP analysis the same capabilities as for S/4HANA migration analysis. You have the same custom code migration and analysis and views, filters, and so on. And you have the same quick fixes about development tools in Eclipse. And in order to get started with the custom code migration app, we recommend to use the SAP Discovery Center mission. We have dedicated mission there for the custom code analysis using the custom code migration app, which is running in SAP BTP ABAP environment. And you can set up and configure the app and on-premise connectivity to your ERP system using the dedicated cloud integration automation service guided workflow, which is provided there. And you can execute the guided step-by-step custom code analysis using the Discovery Center mission. And if you have questions or have feedback for us, then you can just get support there from the SAP experts for using the custom code migration app. Okay, all the information which I provided you today is also available in our SAP community for ABAP testing and analysis, and I really encourage you to visit it. There you will get the information in form of short blogs about custom code adaptation for SAP S/4HANA or custom code adaptation for SAP Business Technology Platform, and you will get the information how to analyze your custom code and how to move the custom code to, for example, SAP BTP ABAP Environment, which findings in custom code, which issues can be adapted using the quick fixes. You will find, for example, the table of the issues for the cloud there also in the blogs, and which can be adapted using the quick fixes. And you will find also a lot of information, detailed information about custom code analysis using the app. Okay, having said that, I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and would like just to hand over to Ceci. Let's see if we have any questions in the Q&A session, which I can answer immediately.
Awesome, thank you, Olga. So that was a very in-depth demo, so thank you for that. And I think actually a lot of the questions that came up during the demo you already answered. So for example, from Anonymous, again, the question was, is this a read-only app or does it also provide options to remediate obsolete code? And I think you showed the option with the quick fixes, for example, which is one capability that you have to automate these changes. And then of course, when those quick fixes aren't available, you have links like, for example, to SAP Notes, where you'll find the needed information that you need to take action. So I think,
and of course you can also delete the obsolete code from the system later on, but the app does the half of the process. It just creates the transport request, which can be deleted from the system later on.
Exactly. Perfect. Then let's see. Another question was if you can run this for your S/4HANA readiness check from ECC. And I think you also showed within the demo that you can download this analysis in a format that is accepted by the S/4HANA readiness checks, for example, so that they can upload it directly there, right? Okay. Or anything else you want to add?
Mode ECC check for S/4HANA readiness from ECC. And now actually you have also remote ATC check capabilities, right? You have them also in place as alternative to custom code migration app. You can use it on premise on NetWeaver basis 752, but not in ERP system. Only NetWeaver 752 is the prerequisite. But you will not get the recommendations for the quick fixes. You cannot upload the usage data and so on. You have a lot of missing capabilities there if you don't use the custom code migration app.
Okay.
And you can also, I see here the anonymous attendee was asking if he can use the app for upgrading during upgrade process from S/4HANA 1909 to S/4HANA 2020, for example. Yes, the app is also recommended to be used between also S/4HANA releases.
Okay, perfect. So then we have Alok, who has a lot of questions. So I think the first one you already answered, right? Because it's applicable from the 1909 to 2020.
Exactly.
Perfect. And then he says that from the library, the latest release of the app is still FPS01. And if that's applicable to FPS02 as well. Yeah.
Yes, it's applicable.
Of course, the app can be used for doing quick fixes. Or
you can only evaluate your custom code for quick fixes, but the quick fixes must be applied in ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse.
In the ABAP Development Tools, yeah. Is there a handy list of quick fixes? So I think you mentioned in the community there is content.
There is a list for the quick fixes for cloud readiness.
Okay. And that's the link that we're showing there on the screen. Is it only to be used using remote ATC analysis?
The app is built on top of remote ATC analysis, yes. And the SUCG or SMON don't put a load in production. It's at maximum, they cost you at maximum 3%, I think, of performance.
Okay. And then so at what stage is the unused code removed during the process?
This is if you use the software update manager and execute the upgrade of the system, of the ERP system during this S/4HANA conversion, then at some point of time, the software update manager asks for you for custom transports. And at this step, you really add your transport request with the custom code, which should be deleted from the system.
Okay. And then maybe if we skip to another one from anonymous attendee, is there, because it's also related to like quick fixes, do they need to enable anything specific to run the quick fixes, or is it available by default?
They're available by default.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Abhishek is asking, is there any variant in ATC if we are moving to Suite on HANA, just like we have for S/4HANA as S/4HANA Readiness 2020?
Yes, there is dedicated check variant functional DB and functional DB addition, which should be used by at moving the suite to the suite on HANA. Okay,
perfect. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to pick some other. Oh, so Kashalia, sorry for the slides. Yes, we will share them. That will be included in the wrap-up blog. So just give us a few days to put everything together. Okay, and then I think we have the questions from Alok still left. I don't know if you want to handle, for example, is API usage valid for only select single or internal tables related to queries as well?
Also, the queries related to internal tables.
Okay, so that works as well. Good. Then, okay, this is a good one. What are the suggestions on extensibility versus GUI enhancement techniques? And is extensibility applicable for all the SAP objects?
So I'm actually not expert on extensibility topics, but actually what we would like to reach that in the future, if you apply the extensibility, that you use either in-app extensibility to do the small changes in your application, and for larger changes to use side-by-side extensibility and not these older techniques.
Yeah, and there are a few documents available on sap.com. I can share those later in the blog as well, in which we explain the different options for the extensibility framework within ABAP. And like Olga mentioned, the comparison between in-app and side-by-side, which scenarios can be covered by the in-app extensibility options and which are better to be done maybe specifically on the platform on BTP side by side. So I can share that as well in the blog for more details. Okay. So the last question from Anonymous again is, the custom code widget within the readiness check is a subset of this app. If we use readiness check, do we still need to run this app?
It is so that the readiness check provides really rudimental custom code analysis. This so-called custom code widget in the readiness check. And what we recommend to execute the real custom code analysis using the app and upload its results to the readiness check. And then you get under this custom code widget, the real analysis results.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Good. Okay, and then we have 3 more questions from Alok. So question 1, will BSEG related issues be remediated by replacing it with ACDOCA through quick fixes?
I don't know, unfortunately, the application logic there, and I'm not familiar with the application tables like BCG, but I know that accesses to BCG will be remediated using the quick fixes generally.
The successors generally, okay.
And what if you want to get real suggestions, then you maybe need to look into the simplification database, to the corresponding simplification item, to the to this SAP node, which covers the simplification item. There you will get the recommendation how to deal with these BCG references.
Okay, exactly. And I think that's what you also showed during the demo, how you get to that.
Exactly, and the conf accesses will be replaced with accesses to the priced elements, right? You have seen it also in the demo.
Yeah. And I think, like you mentioned, the community is also there for them to ask questions. So if they're running the custom code migration app and have any questions that they're not able to find in the documentation, which is also very extensive, then they can reach out through the SAP community, or also through the chat functionality within the mission if they're running that as well, right?
Right.
Perfect. So maybe the first one that was submitted by Anonymous. So he's always on the calls. I really like talking to him. So the question is basically, where should we run this Fiori app? Is it on the customer landscape or in an internal system, which I think you showed in the demo actually? And he asking, that's just to analyze and find out how costly it would be to use current code.
You should use this Fiori app on the SAP BTP ABAP environment. So the app is for free. You need only to purchase the entitlement to SAP BTP ABAP environment. And of course, if the customer wants to analyze his code, then he runs it on his landscape. If the partner wants to analyze customer code, then the partner connects to the customer system and analyzes in this way. So it depends on the use case where do you run the app, but not on internal system. Of course, it's also possible to run the custom code migration app inside of on-premise S/4HANA system. This is also possible. The app is also available on-premise.
Okay.
To analyze and find out how costly would be to use the current code, the first approach for this offers the complexity analysis. You can find out which of your custom code developments are really complex ones.
Perfect. And then, of course, data from the customer system can be uploaded, but it depends on, like you said, on the use case and on the kind of the restrictions and data requirements that are set for each customer. Right?
The upload functionality is available for usage data. You can upload the usage data, but you cannot upload the analysis data from the system.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, then we have Pankaj, who actually asked, is this app suitable for checking ECC system for BTP readiness?
Of course, this is the second use case which I presented, because actually the custom code migration projects involve analysis of ERP system for S/4HANA readiness or BTP readiness. Therefore, this is fully applicable. This is exactly the use case which I explained. You need to check the custom code in your ERP system for BTP.
Good. And then a related question is kind of the version. So Sumit is asking if they can use this app for ECC 6.0 EHP 8.
You can use the app to analyze this system, but the app itself must be used either in SAP BTP ABAP environment on SAP BTP platform, or it must be set up in an on-premise S/4HANA system.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. And then the last question that we have now, if others have questions, they can just continue to submit them. But from Pankaj, again, he's asking if this app also analyzes.
The answer is yes.
Okay, the answer is yes. So it's
Yes.
body, user exit, all these. Okay,
All
awesome.
these things, the scope is the same as in ABAP Test Cockpit, and all these things are supported.
Perfect. All right, thank you. So that was it for the live questions that we had. I'd also just maybe like to add kind of my takeaway from the session before we close. It's very interesting if we kind of draw comparisons between the session that we had last month on the integration suite and the journey from moving your on-prem integrations or your custom integrations into the cloud and using standardized content to this journey with the ABAP custom code as well, because I think we can see from both aspects that what we're trying to support from the SAP side is really providing that standard content out of the box that our customers can leverage directly so that they don't have to maintain it. It's not costly because it comes directly with the SAP solution. But in those cases where those enhancements are not yet available because maybe, we're still working on them or they're very specific to the business, we give you these types of tools like with, integration suite in the cloud and the API Business Hub, or with this custom code migration app so that you can see and you can adapt your code accordingly. And I think when you showed the demo, it was really interesting. It's not just about the analysis. So it's not just about saying, this isn't possible or this can be moved, this can't be moved. It's really about giving those extra options, those recommendations, that step-by-step information, like you showed in, in the Eclipse tooling for the ABAP Development Tools, or like you showed in the Fiori app itself, where it was linking maybe to an SAP note or more information, so the customers actually know what to do. Customers and partners know what to do with the information they're seeing. So that was very interesting to see live.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So thank you again, everybody, for joining the call. Thank you, Olga, for doing the demo, for doing this excellent presentation. We added some links in the chat to especially the Discovery Center mission that you mentioned. The community link is right there. As I mentioned in the beginning, we will be posting a wrap-up blog with the session, with the recording and the slides later on this week. So look out for that. And I think, if there are any other questions or any other kind of things that come up, they can always reach out to us through the SAP community. Right, Olga?
Yes. You can also feel free anytime to contact me personally, or if you have any questions, I also happy to receive them, to answer them.
Perfect. And maybe before we close, I see one more question.
Okay, let's take a look at this one.
Yeah. So Sumit wants to know the minimum S/4HANA on-prem system version required to use the app.
1809.
1809. Perfect. So 1809 and onwards can be used with the app. Awesome. All right. So we got everything in. Again, thank you everybody for joining the call, and I hope to see you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.